Welcome back to Feed the Beast Stoneblock 4. I'm Bumstar, and today we're changing gears a bit. Last episode, we tried to finish the Echo of the Infernal quest, but it's still bugged. So instead of banging our heads against it, we're going to move on to something we desperately need. Real storage. Our storage has been great. The storage lectern has helped us a ton at the beginning to keep stuff semi-organized, but it's officially starting to overflow and it's really slowing us down. So in this episode, we are diving into Applied Energistics 2. We're going to get our setup going, work on processors, and build the network we need to keep Tier 3 moving smoothly. So let's get organized. So luckily with last episode, we do have a ton of upgraded and enchanted gear, and we're going to continue to upgrade and enchant it as we move forward. And as soon as that bug is fixed, we will move on with our tier 3 Infernal quest because I really want to get that going. It's more magic stuff and I'm excited to dive into it, but we can't really do anything if we can't progress it. So with our other tier 3, with the Lightbender, we're going to need something along the lines of a ME pattern provider and our quantum link and quantum ring to do the upgrade. So in order to do that, we have to get into Applied Energistics. And with Applied Energistics, we'll be able to start doing full auto crafts and a ton of extra things that are going to make our life so much easier. And in this pack, Applied Energistics is a little different than what it normally is. So to get started, we're going to need flawless budding Certus quartz. And normally you get that from a meteor, but in this pack, we can make it in our world engine. And to do that, all we're gonna need is a little bit of power and a block of amethyst to make some flawless budding Certus quartz. So let's do that and let's automate it. So we're gonna send 5 amethyst in here to get 5 flawless out. And now we have 5 flawless budding Certus quartz. And these will stay flawless unless we break them. So we're good to go, and it's super easy to make. So the more we need, the more we can make. Alright, so what I have set up here is just a little bit of Certus quartz floating around here, and we'll make this look nicer and spread it out a bit more later. But for now, we have 2 advanced block breakers. So we're going to have 2 that are going to harvest it when they're fully grown, and 2 that are going to harvest immediately as it spawns. So that way we get the Certus dust and we'll get the Certus quartz. Then what we're going to do is set up a controller access point here with a Just Our Things item collector on it, and make sure that we link that to our system. Set this render area and let's move that to the middle of the room, and this should be able to collect this entire room here. If not, I will move our flawless quartz blocks a little closer to make it easier, but I'm just trying to think of something that looks good. Alright, yeah, that covers the whole room. So we're going to set that up to Certus quartz and a Certus dust. Set that to our allow list, set that to 1 tick, and then we need to go grab our drawers. We're going to put 2 drawers right here. Let's go ahead and configure these, and we'll link them to our system. Now let's spam click this until we have what we want. So right here is our Certus quartz, that right in here, and then we can just take this and break all these small ones. And now we have our Certus dust. So now what we want to do is set up our breakers. So one will only collect dust and the other one will only collect fully grown quartz. Set those both to 1 tick, and then we need to make the working area. So let's turn that on and let's send that over. Now we just need to spread that out, but it's now covering both of these completely. And then we're just going to pop that in here. Oh, and I totally messed that up. So now we have some flawed. So let's go make 2 new ones real quick. We actually don't want to do the Certus quartz dust. What we want to do is we want to do the small buds, medium buds, large buds. And what we want to do over here is the Certus quartz clusters. We're putting fortune over here. So let's see. We grow these all the way. And that should do the Certus quartz cluster, correct? Maybe? Oh, I don't have the working area for that. But for this, as you can see, now that should be working. Let's see, let's spam grow. Yep, perfect. So now we just need to set the working area for this one. how that should be getting our Certus quartz. And these are going to be really slow right now because we don't have any growth accelerators going. But as soon as we can, we will be growth accelerating this and adding more to just really speed this process up. But for now, we have these automated. It may not be the fastest thing in the world, but it is at least something. And then with our flawed buds, we can go ahead and just break these real quick. And then they just turn into Certus quartz blocks. So we get 8 of them. And now that we have our Certus quartz done, we get the not so mysterious cube, and we'll collect that reward. But now this is where it gets a bit different than what we normally see. There is a circuit fabricator, which is a multi-block that creates processors for AE2 and refined storage. It does require power, but it can accept regular FE power, and we need to make the full multi-block. So let's go ahead and make all the items needed. Going to be a circuit fabricator, 19 blue sheet metal, 3 vibrant quartz glass, and a mysterious cube. So for the sheet metal, we should be able to just use 4 plates to make sheet metal. So let's see, what plates do we have available to us? Absolutely nothing. So let's grab some copper, melt it down. And actually we have a ton of iron in here too, so we could just make iron sheet metal. Let's try that with some iron. There we go, iron sheet metal. And then we just need some lapis, make some blue dye. So we'll make a stack of blue dye here. And then we just take our sheet metal, surround it, and put blue dye in the middle. And now we have blue sheet metal. All right, and now we have 24 blue sheet metal, which is more than what we needed. We need to make our quartz glass, or vibrant quartz glass. So how many of these did we need? I believe 3. Yeah, 3 vibrant quartz glass. And then we're going to need 6 iron plates, 2 pistons, 1 copper plate, and 1 diamond. We have plenty of that. Grab our diamond, pistons, 6 iron plates, and 1 copper plate. So we have everything for that. And then we need to head to the Echo of the Machinist to buy our mysterious cube. And then let's head to the world engine. Let's pop our 4 items in here. And we should have plenty of power to craft this. We got our circuit fabricator. And now we have our circuit fabricator. Right. And while I'm working on all of this, I opened up these rooms here so we have a little more room to build all the stuff that we need. And we're going to put that multi-block over here. Mainly for the simple fact that the power should be right around here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and run this cable right over here so we have some power. And now let's see how we make our multi-block. Well, it looks like this is going to be a 3x3 block. So we're going to go ahead and put the circuit fabricator here. And if we click on recipe and we click down here to show required structure, it is now going to outline where everything is supposed to go. So we need to put our vibrant quartz against the wall there. Then we put our mysterious cube here, take our sheet metal, and align the floor. Put our vibrant quartz there, and vibrant quartz there. And then we put sheet metal here, sheet metal there, sheet metal there. And then we just fill the top up. And that should be complete. So let's break this energy real quick and put that back down. Does it need to touch this? It looks like it does. So we'll go ahead and just bury it underneath. There we go, and now it's getting power. And we'll cover this all up eventually, but this is all temporary for now. So now this is our circuit fabricator. And it did give us acceleration cards, which we're gonna place right here. And this is just going to speed the whole process up. All right, so as we're grabbing all of the resources that we need to make our processors, which is diamond, gold, Certus quartz, and redstone, we are also going to need silicon. And to make silicon, we need to smelt it, and we could smelt Certus quartz dust to get 1. Or we could smelt raw silicon, which is quartz dust with wet sand. But the best way to do it is a quartz blend, because 1 quartz blend gives you 4 silicon gems. And to make quartz blend, all it is quartz dust, coal, and sand. And you get 6 of it per. So we could use the Certus quartz dust, or we could just use a regular quartz dust, which could just be made with putting quartz into a crusher to get quartz dust. And we actually already have 3 quartz blend. So we're going to go ahead and grab another stack, and we're just going to throw that into one of our crushers here, and just let that crush over time while we make some quartz blend over here. Then we'll go ahead and put that in our furnace. And now we're going to come over here with all these materials. And if we just put silicone in here, it's going to turn those all into printed silicone almost instantly. That is insanely fast. And we're just going to go ahead and do all the silicone because, well, I need it anyway. As you can see, it does burn through this energy rather quickly. But now we have this. So since we have all the printed circuits, we now need to put redstone in here. And you put the silicone at the bottom. And then you put the other circuit at the top. And you now make engineering circuits, or calculation processors, or printed logic circuits. And now we have half a stack, almost half a stack of each one. And we can make these extremely quickly. This is going to speed up everything that we need for Applied Energistics and make this just a lot easier to run. So now that we have that complete, we're going to need to get our hands on some skystone eventually, but for now, we'll worry about that in a minute. We've got our processors, and the next thing that I would like to do is make some cables. And we're just going to need to make some basic cables for now, but to do that, we're going to need to make fluics. And to make fluics, we're going to need charged Certus quartz, redstone, and nether quartz. And we submerge that into water, and we will get our fluics. Then we're going to go ahead and run this cable up here, and we're going to put our charger up against it. Then we'll put a hopper on the bottom and a hopper on the top. We'll fill our bottom hopper up with just a random item for now. The Certus quartz on the top. And now that has charged Certus, so we'll remove one of those. And now all of our Certus quartz are going to get charged, so we can use them for the transformation. And for now, we only have 3 charged Certus quartz, but that's fine. We're going to drop them into this water. First, we need to turn our magnet off. Drop our charged Certus quartz, our nether quartz, and our redstone into water. If I can keep them in there. There we go. And those are going to then turn into fluics. And it doubles. So now we have 26 fluix crystals. And with those fluix crystals, we're going to make our Applied Energistics 2 cables. And we're just going to make some basic cables. But to make that, we're going to need to make some quartz fiber. And then we can just turn that into some cables here. And then we make some growth accelerators with all of that. And we're going to accelerate the growth of our Certus because, well, this is the most important thing that we need. We need a lot of it. And in order to get a lot of it, we need to speed that growth up because by itself, it is way too slow. So for now, we are just going to use our energy cables to speed this process up, but we will be able to make crystal resonance generators, which allow this to run without having to actually supply it power. But we need more fluics first to do that, and well, it's just going to take a little time. So now that each of these have a growth accelerator attached, they are going to start growing a lot quicker, even with a single one. And to really speed this up, you can completely surround the block and it is just going to start powering through and growing extremely fast. So let's set that up a while and let our Certus and our Certus dust start to fill up. All right, and I now have these all set up with the growth accelerators surrounding them, so they should start growing a ton quicker, and we should have plenty of Certus and Certus dust. But now that we have our cables, we have a couple different things that we're going to need to make. So normally the first thing that we would make is a ME controller. And well, to make an ME controller, we need our Fortron infused blocks. So we're not going to be able to make this quite yet. But luckily we can still use Applied Energistics without using a controller. We just need to use a ME drive, a storage bus, and a crafting terminal. So let's make those. And we're actually not going to be able to make the storage bus quite yet either, because we still need that Fortron infused blocks. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to make the ME drive, and we're going to make some storage disks. And now there's a couple different storage disks that you can do. You have the AE2 things disk drives, and then you have the regular Applied Energistics ME item storage cells. The cells are the standard. They run with bytes and types, so you can have 63 different types of items in there, and then the bytes will fill up depending on the items. Or if you do the storage disk, it does not matter how many types of items that you have within, it just fills up based off of bytes. So these are a lot easier to run with. The big thing is you just need to make sure you have netherite to be able to make them. And well, netherite, we can make that. So we're gonna do the disk drives because, well, they're just a lot nicer. And now you can make the 1K storage disk pretty easy. Just Certus quartz, redstone with a logic processor. But if you make 3 of them, you can make a 4K storage component. And well, if you make 3 of the 4Ks, you can then make a 16K. And if you make 3 of the 16Ks, you can make a 64K. And if you made 3 of the 64Ks, you can make a 256K, but you're going to need skystone dust for that, so we're going to stop at the 64. But then with the 64, we just need some more of our quartz fiber glass, and we can make our 64K ME disk drive. Oh, and then when we complete this crafting terminal quest, we actually get the storage bus quest. We actually get a storage bus reward, so we don't have to make the storage bus ourselves because we're already going to have it. So now to power our whole system, we're going to need to make a energy acceptor. And to make that, we need to use the world engine. So we're going to need energy. We only need the very first world engine block. And we're going to need 4 quartz glass, 4 copper wire, and 4 iron plates. And then we're also going to do the exact same thing with the Fluix block, 4 copper wire, and 4 iron plates. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place our ME drive right here, and we're going to put our storage disk in here. Now we want to grab some cables. We're going to want to set this up right here. We're going to want to take our storage bus, and we're going to want to set that up here. We're going to run this cable all the way over so it connects to our storage bus. And we're going to set this as a priority to 10. So it's always going to try, whenever we put anything into our system, it's always going to try and put it into our storage controller first. And if it doesn't fit in here, then it'll go into our disk drive. And then we're going to want to take our crafting terminal and place that right here. And as you can see, it is out of power. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set this up, and we're going to just place this here for now, but we will move this later. But put our little crystal resonance generator on top, and it is going to give us just enough power that we can now access our inventory. And this is going to show everything that is connected to our storage controller, as well as stuff like lava and latex and everything else connected. So now if we want to start putting stuff into our disk drive, we're going to need to make a import bus, because we're going to import everything that is connected to our storage lectern into our disk drive. So what we want to do first before we do this is we want to disconnect our storage controller from the storage lectern. So let's grab our Ars wand, the Dominion wand, and let's right click here to set position. And now that inventory should be removed, and the only things that are connected then are all of these chests. So now we want to put our import bus here with our cable, and what this should start doing is it should start pulling everything out. Now you could do this with a interface, which would be a little bit quicker, or you can just do it with the import bus here, and all you have to do is use something like an acceleration card to really speed this process up. So let's see if we can make it. So we have enough for a single acceleration card here, so we'll just put that in there. Then, as you can see, even a single card really speeds that process up. And we're just going to give it some time, and it's going to start filling this disk up. And while doing this, it should, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to actually do it, but it should take everything from our storage lectern that are in these chests. And if it has a spot over here and this is not full, it should try and put it into here. And then if that's full or it doesn't exist, then go into our drive. And then while we're waiting for that all to move, we have a couple options. So we can change the terminal style. I always like the biggest one because I like to be able to see everything. You have a couple different settings as well. Pin auto craft, notify when jobs are done, automatically clear the terminal grid when it's closed. You can use the AE or the JEI search settings. I normally use AE. Remember last search, autofocus on open, and sync with JEI search. I leave all those standard. You can set the sort, so ascending or descending. Then you can sort by name, number of items, the specific mod, and I like to normally do number of items and set that to descending so you can just see what you have the most of. But realistically, that's really good for just things like this, right? So go in, you see iron, it shows you all of your iron. Our oak drawers have almost filled up, so we're going to make sure to give that some upgrades here, so that way we don't flood our world with Certus. So then with one of our quests, we also got a energy cell, and you can make a single energy cell or you can make a dense energy cell. But what these allow you to do is set a buffer for your energy. So you have your energy acceptor here, and then we should be able to break this and put a dense energy cell down, and that should start filling up with energy. All right, and all of our chests are completely gone, which means we can start filling up these walls with drawers and expanding on our functional storage setup. And just to give you an idea, pretty much all of these chests were full minus 2 of them, and we're still at 15,801 out of 64 bytes. So 164K disk drive is enough for 12 copper chests full of stuff. That's not too bad. But now we have everything here, including armor and things that really shouldn't be in here, but they are anyway. And that's for a single disk drive. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and buy this infinite water cell, and we'll go ahead and buy this infinite cobblestone cell as well. And at the fabricator here, they do have quite a few applied energistic things. Accelerator cards, crafting cards, wireless boosters, wireless access points, energy cards. And I might just go ahead and buy one of these wireless access points and maybe buy a couple of these wireless boosters as well. And now that we have our storage lectern done, we can just break that, get rid of this. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do while we're here is we're gonna put our wireless access point there, and we're gonna make ourselves a wireless crafting terminal. And we'll go ahead and make our wireless crafting terminal, which we have charging with our pocket generator here. And then we just come in here, throw the wireless boosters, and it's not the biggest range in the world, but it's something. And you place it right here, and it's now connected. And what you can also do is you can take your gadgets and place them in here as well. And they will now also be connected to your system. So that way you don't even need to have the blocks in your inventory if you're going to build or paste or exchange or any of that. It makes building and decorating a lot easier, which means that now that we have this system set up, I should be making this base look a little nicer. But before we go any further, let's put our cobblestone and our water cell in here. And now we have infinite water and infinite cobblestone. And with infinite water, that means I'm going to start being able to use some concrete and really sprucing this place up. But now that we have all that, we have our wireless crafting terminal, which means that we can finally get rid of our crafting on a stick. And then all we have to do is go into our settings and go wireless, and then we go to open wireless terminal, set that to our keybind, as well we're not going to be using a crafting stick anymore. And if we hit that button, we now have access to our wireless. So let's see if we come over here, we're out of range. So to about right here works. And we can expand that further with more wireless range boosters. But next episode, we will expand on that a completely different way that will allow us to use our wireless network anywhere we want, at any time, in any dimension, in any place, and everywhere, and wherever we want it to be. But that's going to be it for this episode. We have set up the very, very basics of Applied Energistics. And it is only the beginning of this mod, because this mod has so much to it that, I mean, it could take 4 or 5 episodes to just fully explain everything that's going on, so that way it's not ridiculously confusing. But at its core, Applied Energistics is pretty simple once you understand the basics, and we will probably finish up talking about Applied Energistics next episode, because, well, the quest that we're going to work on requires us to make pattern providers. And, well, pattern providers are great for auto crafting. So we're going to auto craft next episode, and we're going to make our lives so much easier that it's just not going to matter anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It really, really helps me out. And then hit that bell if you want to be notified for the new episodes that come out. And that would be every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. Going forward, I may be dropping this series down to 2 episodes a week so I can get back to my All the Mods 10 to the Sky playthrough, because I've put that on a hiatus while I play this, because I'm having a ton of fun. But with some of the bugs that we're dealing with, it makes it hard to continue. So hopefully they get that sorted out soon, so I can keep playing this, because, well, it is just a blast. It's really, really enjoyable. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Later.